Yup, no fear. Nope. Rich in here, LBRM. Yup, look. This rich in here, this for the ones that knew me. Y'all don't really know me, so I'm exposing the new me. See, Rich was Christian, now he's a free man. That's right, I said it, and I could give 2 fingers up if you love me or not. That's peace either way. Came in this world without you, and I'm leaving that way. No, I'm not who I was, won't be him no more. No longer in disguise, I can't do it no more. Heard y'all wanna debate, I ain't got time to waste. No time for proving you wrong, leave that to my nigga Nate. No time for
What's up, everybody? This is the Left Brain, Right Mind podcast.
What up with it?
I am King.
Rich right here though.
What's going on, everybody?
I can't hear him. Everybody.
you had me there. What's going on? Hey, so everybody knows by now that this is a podcast that's centered around using your critical thinking skills. So whatever you're used to thinking, whatever you've been programmed to think, our job is to help you think outside of the box. And saying think outside of the box is so in the box. But I don't know another way to say that.
That's actually funny.
So basically using your critical thinking skills, thinking outside the box on religion versus spirituality. Anything that you have been programmed to think is real. Using your analytical skills, connecting your left brain, which is analytical, with your right brain, which is creative. And using them both simultaneously. Now, today we're going to talk about Jesus.
What about him? That's it. We start smiling when you said it.
Did Jesus really exist?
Well, when you said the name, we both start smiling. So there you go, right there.
Is it because when I think of the goodness of Jesus and all that he's done for me,
your soul?
My soul cries out.
What?
Hallelujah.
How you lose what? Let's see. I'm gonna be real with you. We had this talk earlier. We ain't even had no icebreaker, so it's whatever. This is breaking the ice.
Yeah, we can get into the icebreaker, but we just trying to tease the show real quick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. The ice is broken anyway. It's just a little warmer outside in February. All right, here we go.
It's like 40 degrees.
Yeah, so the ice broken. So here we go. This is how I feel about the whole thing. Yeah, I mean, probably gonna step on some toes, some whole feet and ankles. I feel like it was somebody here. You know what I'm saying? I just do. I think it was somebody here. I can't say if the story is how they said exactly, but I think somebody was here. Now, whether that person, I don't think. Now this is here come the toes and the ankles and the whole foot, and not the foot of Jesus neither. I'm saying like the whole. So I'm just saying like I don't think that because of the back history and what we talk about that somebody actually died and rose, you know what I'm saying, from the dead or the grave. That I don't know, because I can't prove that. What makes sense to me is that being the son of God, you know what I'm saying, that rises every morning. That has to do with the winter solstice, we'll go into that. But I do think it was somebody here that was like a prophet, so to speak. Like a prophet or a so-called prophet who talked about what's to come, who had insight, higher consciousness, who was enlightened, and I think that when we were conquered, our people, that the Europeans or the Greeks or whoever they are, they put the little twist on the story and switched it up.
Okay.
That's just, in a nutshell, that's what I think. Nah. Did Jesus exist? I'm asking you now.
So, if you had, so let me, and I always do this because I got to overanalyze because I'm trying to think in the mind of the listener, right?
Yeah, I be doing that too. I sometimes want to go straight in, but you know what I'm saying?
So I want to make some clarifications, right? So Jesus as in what we've been taught. a man walking the earth that did everything that they said in the Bible he did.
Mm-hmm.
Totally made up story.
Why do you say that?
Well, so number one, there, and actually, so I saw a post by a friend on Facebook, and it was a picture of one of the pharaohs in ancient Kemet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was their mummified body, which was proof that that person lived, right? And so that was thousands of years before the so-called Jesus Christ, Jesus the Christ, right? And so it said the meme read that we have evidence of, and I can't remember who it was, and this person lived, I don't know, 3,000, 2,000 years before the so-called birth of Jesus Christ, but there's no evidence of Jesus. So number one, there's no archaeological evidence of anything that happened in the Bible. All right. Number two, when you look at, so the evidence is the lack of evidence, because there's no evidence. I mean, you would think that a person who turned water into wine, a person who walked on water, a person who, I don't know the story, I'm assuming he hawk spit in his hand and wiped it on the eyes of them. The only reason I know that is because the preacher from a couple weeks ago hawk spit in his hand and wiped it on the man's eyes or whatever.
I'm uncomfortable.
So you got somebody who's done all of this, but there's not even a written account. There's not a written account of this Jesus the Christ, right? So the earliest recorded writings are 70 to 130 years after the death of the so-called Jesus, right?
Okay.
So I'm sorry, 70, so 30 plus years after his death. So I want to say it was like 70 AD or ACE, right? So that's the earliest recorded. So can you remember 30 years ago?
A little bit.
Details,
No.
word for word?
No, hell no.
So the earliest account was 30, 40 years after his so-called death. And then when you start breaking down some of the so-called evidence that he existed, it just don't pass the sniff test.
Now, how can you prove what you're saying as far as 30 years after the so-called death? Like, what could I look up, or the people look up to? What can I look up?
So Google or Bing it. The earliest accounts of Jesus. What are the earliest writings of Jesus, right? Proof that Jesus existed. So you're going to come up with all of these different things, different opinions. And that's why I say using your left brain. We use a lot of our right brain now. We don't connect it with our left brain. Connect it with your left brain and analyze what are they saying? Because the writers, I'm talking about people who write about the Bible or write about history, they've been tricky with their words. So if you're not reading every word and connecting the sentences, you wouldn't see that, oh, they're being tricky. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll say, oh, yeah, so here we are in Jerusalem. Now, this is a very holy place. This is the place that is believed that Jesus walked. So, the disciples, they're believed to be over there. And so they slip that believed word in there, right? And so if you're not thinking, that word slipped right by you.
That believe?
The believe.
Okay.
Which means you don't know.
Right.
Right? So we could say that in Egypt, ancient Kemet, we know that That's not the place that's believed to be where Pharaoh Joseph lived, walked, moved. We know because the walls, the carvings, the writings, the so-called hieroglyphs or the Medunetter.
What?
The Medunetter.
What's that?
What the white man call hieroglyphs.
Oh, okay.
Right? And so those are things that you can go look at today. You can touch, you can see, right? You can go into some of these pyramids. Some of them I heard they have it blocked off. You can't even go, into certain parts of some of them. Who knows what knowledge is in there? So my point is there's proof of all these things that happened before and after. But this 33-year period of this so-called greatest man to ever walk the earth, we have nothing but what somebody wrote years later.
Okay. What I'm saying, okay. Like, do you think, know, or believe that it was somebody here that was a carpenter, master builder, healer through natural medicines or whatever, a master physician?
There have been many of those.
Okay. That's what I was getting at.
Yeah.
All right. So see, that's what I'm saying though.
Yeah.
So I'm saying if you add the only one that the first one that has detail, I think the first person that we're talking about that did all of this in detail that I heard it was Imhotep, right? So if that's the first person and they twisted that story up, to me, that's who that would have been. But what I'm saying is, like, I think it was somebody here. No, his name wasn't Jesus. Flat out, everybody, that's elementary now. But I think it was somebody here, and they took that story and twisted it.
So when you start analyzing the Bible, you see that a lot of the people that they have misnamed or renamed are a collection of different people, right? Moses is mainly based off of Tutmosis III, right? The so-called David is patterned after somebody, right?
Because it couldn't have been nobody named David in ancient Africa, Kemet and all of that.
Exactly.
Paul, John, Matthew, all of them.
Solomon is patterned after I think Solomon might be patterned after Imhotep. Right?
A lot of them might be patterned after Imhotep.
So they took bits and pieces of our people, to come up with these different names and stories. And honestly, so here's where I differ from a lot of people who have come into this knowledge, right? They affectionately call us Hoteps.
Everybody calling me no hoe, bro. I don't tolerate that. Call me what you want to, calling me no hoe.
So I've become a Hotep. And Hotep really means peace, right? So but that's the
so I'm peace?
Huh?
Imhotep. So if Hotep is peace.
Imhotep was his name. Hotep means peace. Right?
Okay.
So in the language that we understand, it means peace.
Oh, gotcha.
So a lot of us feel like I just lost my train of thought.
It happens.
Yeah.
Trains get derailed. But I do want to say this real quick while you get your thought back. I want to spell out Imhotep just in case the listeners want to read up on them. Imhotep, Imhotep. And there's some dope documentaries, not even long, like 11 minutes, 15 minutes of melanated people that have a lot of knowledge, historic knowledge on Imhotep. So you can do your own research, Google or YouTube Imhotep, so you know who we're talking about.
Yeah, so I think what I was going to say is that a lot of people will say throw the whole Bible away, right? So I don't think that way.
Neither.
Right? So as you fully see, a lot of us we got the knowledge and we felt betrayed, so we got angry and just threw everything away, right? Um, but as you mature, you understand that the Bible is still a sacred book because the things that's in there came from us.
I was about to say it had to come from somewhere, and we know that it came from where they took it from. Where our ancestors are from.
Yeah. So because there's truth in there, I don't disrespect it. Right. And so as we, analyze the question, did Jesus really exist? I would love for everybody to just do the research. You know, as you read the Bible, come out of the Bible and just look at history. Right?
Yeah.
Just analyze the fact that there were things that happened that are recorded. The major things that happen are recorded. Right? Not everything, but in what they may call ancient times, because we know that, humans have been around for millions of years, right? So because humans have been around for millions of years, talking about what was recorded in 4,000 or 5,000 BCE, to me, that's recent times compared to millions of years, right?
Yeah, because they say that story is like thousands and thousands of years, but it's archaeological proof correct that we've been here, and it's been stones, bones, and all of that's been here, what, millions or whatever. So my thing is, what were we doing before all of this? That's my, what I'm saying? That's what make me think, like, hold on. I think somebody came into, existence to help people out or whatever, like I said. But before that, what was going on? You know what I'm saying? Like, how this is a small answer for me. We were just like, it was innate to do things, to know your connection with nature. Like a baby knows to go to the nipple. You ain't got to, whether it's a animal or a human, it just knows. You know what I'm saying? You come out knowing, I can't kill my mother. You know what I'm saying? That's not in you to do.
So look, we were talking about this on my way in. It's so off the topic, right? But I just had to throw this in there when you said baby know to go to the nipple. So we were talking about how I used to be 290 pounds, right? So when I had my daughter, my youngest daughter, I don't got no shirt on. I'm holding my daughter. I'm trying. She was hungry. I'm trying to get her bottle. I got her right here, and she trying to suck on my nipple, man. I'm like, it's time to lose weight.
Oh,
I just had to throw that in there when you said that.
You just
man.
messed me up. I would never forget that. I'm repeating this story. What?
Yeah, man. She was like literally trying to like, okay, here, here go a nipple.
Don't say that no more. Oh my God.
Oh man.
All right.
Yeah, I was 290. Yeah, I was a little roly poly or whatever.
Did you hear what you just said?
That my daughter tried to breastfeed from my breast.
Bro.
Oh man.
All right. I need to try to come. I need a sip of water.
So yeah, you're right. There are things that are innate, right?
Yep.
And so we know that at some point our ancestors thought to write things down, right? There probably was no need 300,000 years ago to write it down. They spoke a language, right? They communicated with each other without it. But at some point, maybe it was a changing of the age, whatever it was, but the ancient Cometians thought it imperative to write it, not just write it on papyrus, but write it in stone. So when you look at that and you look at modern civilization and how most things that we have now are born out of the world coming to ancient Kemet to learn and to be taught, right? And, of course, we know that ancient Kemet is the child of Ethiopia. There's like three or four civilizations, and ancient Kemet is the youngest of those ancient civilizations.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. Now what can we look up to?
So I'm about to throw a hard alley-oop to a brother named Michael Imhotep, right? Now, Michael Imhotep, he's from the D, and he's got a radio show. I think it's on 950. I hate to call it out and I'd be wrong. But he also has a course where he kind of goes into a lot of the historical things that we're talking about, ancient Kemet, civilization before slavery, right? Because it seems like the only history that we can get is black folks in chains, right? So he goes into a lot of ancient history back to, 1066, back to, 325 AD, right? And on back through ancient Kemetic times. I actually bought his course, and it's relatively cheap, right? I think it was like $60 or whatever. But he was talking about how we were here. Another brother, Ivan Van Sertima, wrote the book that came before Columbus, right? So in that book, it talks about, the civilization here prior to there being Europeans on this continent, right? So there was evidence in South Carolina or North Carolina not too long ago. They found bones of humans that was 300,000 years old, or a long time ago, because I can't remember the date, right? But a long time ago. They found in California bones of, I want to say it was the mastodon, and tools that was used to kill the mastodon that date back, whenever the mastodon existed, right? So check that brother's course out. You can Google him, you can look him up on Facebook, and he's even on YouTube as well.
So the dude Michael Imhotep had answers to.
He's got a lot of answers. Another alley-oop to Pastor Ray Hagins, right? And so the people, we would never recommend anybody who's just going to give you the same thing that, give you information just like some of our pastors have given us information in the past, throwing you information and saying, just believe it because I heard it from God. The people that we talk about are people who are going to tell you, this is verifiable information. You go research it. Here's where you can go research it. Right. These are the things. Anthony Browder as well. So these are people that, are in the land of the living. I don't think Ivan Van Sertima is. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
But these are people in the land of the living right now. Anthony Browder, Michael Imhotep, right? Pastor Ray Hagins.
Reggie Cockaroo. What's his name, Reggie?
Reginald Kuwakaru, right? He's got a course that I bought as well, where he kind of breaks down the esoteric meaning versus the exoteric meaning. Exoteric meaning of the Bible is the general or common accepted understanding of what the scripture is saying. Right. Esoteric is saying there's a deeper meaning that only a select few get and understand.
Right.
Right. So, those are the things that, those are the different places you can go. And like I say, I have people arguing with me or debating me rather about the Bible, and they haven't read but maybe a few scriptures, or they only know what their pastor has told them. And so as we're going into a different time and age, it's time to learn it for yourself.
Yeah, because people feel away because they were told something from birth. You know what I mean? And then to challenge that, and you held that to heart. You know what I think happened? We are spiritual people by nature. So if you attach spirituality with other concepts as a child, you're going to just believe that because it's innate to feel a connection with something, you know. So I think that's how it got tricky.
Yeah.
And then with see, the whole thing is when you take and you colonize a place and a people, the name of the game is to change everything. As long as you have those people for 100 years, 500 years, 1,000, 2,000, these people and their children are going to do all they can to make these people believe something and hold to that truth. And you put it in the book and you kill the people who, don't go along with the plan and raise the children. But you got some people who would be like so-called quote unquote house niggas than how to do it, whether it's fear or just because they, what I'm saying, want to just jock the master for some reason, I don't know, and they keep it going. And it becomes normal, the way of life. Like I was talking to somebody about their house, and it was like, yeah, I got this and that, and it's the master bedroom here, and just roll off, you know what I'm saying? But the master bedroom, that came from the master's bedroom. He had the biggest bedroom. Yeah. But it's just, we think, oh yeah, I got this nice house, and I got this my master bedroom with 2 doors. But that came from somewhere, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So same thing with religion, But I still think that it was somebody here that was teaching us the way and showing us, what I'm saying, how we should think. But it got twisted when they colonized the people and they wrote this and that. This is what I'm saying. I just don't see how people can believe everything in those collection of books. I understand some things. Some things I don't even say I believe. I know if you seek, you gonna find. So I know if I do you right, if you got a right mind, you're gonna treat me right. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. But all the other stuff in the stories, like, come on, man. This is the age of technology.
So look, watch this. And I ain't trying to get off subject, but we'll take those scriptures, right? We'll take the ones that are believable, right? Seek and you'll find. Knock and the door shall be open, right? But we'll skip over where Jesus said, the so-called Jesus, said, greater works than these will you do also. We'll skip over that and give our power back over to a man.
Now, do that make sense what you just said? Greater works or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay, now, to my point, somebody said that. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, the man who wrote it.
Right. So I'm saying, like, but I don't think I'm trying to get around saying the white man. I don't know, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But my thing is that man, they weren't trying to empower us by giving us stuff. So it came from somewhere. Somebody said it.
Yeah, and I'll even go as far. Oh, this is what I was gonna say. This is where I differ from other people of this mindset. I don't think that the people who started writing these collection of books had any great ill intentions when they wrote the books, right? I think they wrote it as a literary piece, right?
Okay.
And I think they took bits and pieces from history, what was recorded, what they were taught, and they put their spin on it. And I think the nefarious nature of the Bible came about with the Council of Nicaea.
I was just about to say that, because actually it was different councils, Council of Chalcedon, Council of Nicaea. My point is, I agree with you. It could have been for a whole nother, but then over hundreds of years with all these different councils, it was like, you know what, we can trick these niggas. You know what I'm saying? We
Yeah.
can have them doing some.
Well, let me clarify,
Mhm.
because we know that Alexander came into
The Greek.
he came into and conquered with his army, right? And so they knew that the knowledge was so great in that region that they did want to conquer it.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
but I don't think it was a great, like, I think as time went on, it was like, we can use this and we can gain control of the people, right? Not just this group here, but let's use this because it's powerful.
That makes sense. But again, we can't prove that.
We can't prove it.
It just it makes sense.
Yeah, we can't prove it, but
I can't prove that it was somebody that existed. You showing more evidence than I am, because you telling me we ain't sure, you know what I'm saying? You telling me where I can actually find stuff.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I'm just going off of what makes sense to me and how I was raised and all of that.
there's another thing. So even when you look at, the oldest, and I'm gonna get in trouble because I don't remember the dates, right? So I got to get better with that. But I will say, so the oldest form of Christians are called the Coptic Christians, right? And so if you go to that region, what they now call the Middle East or whatever, you still have that sect of Christianity. And a lot of and I believe it is not the church that we see today, and the Coptic Christians are different.
It was so when did it wasn't the Gnostics? What was that? Am I saying it right? One of the ones called the Gnostics or something like that. Let me type it in and see. But oh yeah, there. Hold on.
Okay, so cops, COPTS, are the indigenous Christian population of Egypt who date back to the first decade following the life of Jesus Christ. So now this is where, in the beginning, these Coptic Christian beliefs are what led to the first Nicene Council being had, because you got
See what I'm saying? That's why I can't get down with that, man.
Yeah.
That's why I would never say I'm a Christian, bro. My bad. Go ahead.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Yeah, man. We gotta. It's two groups we gotta stay away from. And that's one of them.
Yeah, like that dude on the fan.
Yeah.
With the silky hair.
Go
ahead.
So, they had something called the Arian controversy, right? And so that all boiled down to the deification of this character Isis, who people call right. Whether the son and the father being one, right? The so let's back up. Let me just explain what the Arian controversy. It was a series of Christian disputes about the nature of Christ. That began with a dispute between Arius and Athanasius of Alexandria, two Christian theologians from Alexandria, Egypt. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this even says it here. Ironically, his efforts were the cause of the deep division created by the disputes after the Nicene Council. She had the Nicene Council, and then it led up to the other two or three or whatever, right? There were more, but the major ones that shaped the Christianity that we see now. So we talked, and there are going to be a lot of redundant themes as we go from episode to episode. I just want everybody to understand there's going to be some redundancy.
Yeah, of course. And,
but
they go through that every Sunday.
I was just getting ready to say, when you go to church, you're going to hear that. Matter of fact,
you're going to hear something out of the 66.
Man, and
flat out.
And it ain't even in the 66. And you could finish sometime, most of the time, you could finish what your pastor about to say because you done heard it so many times.
Yeah, true.
So at any rate, when we talk about the true Trinity, right? The true Trinity existed thousands of years prior to the so-called birth of Jesus Christ. Mm-hmm. All right. So the true Trinity is Asar, Aset, and Haru, right? So you have the divine masculine, which is Asar. You got the divine feminine, which is Aset. And then you have the result of divine masculine and divine feminine together. The result is a creation.
Exactly.
Which carries on the divine masculine and divine feminine. Yeah. Right?
Yep.
And so what happened was they kept Asar. They kept Haru. Right? And they got rid of the divine feminine.
Right.
Right?
I need to point out, that's where the Ankh came from, correct?
Correct.
All right.
Correct.
Can the people see that? All right.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
So there became this dismantling of an ideology that not only explained the creation, but explained nature and explained spirituality.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because we have, the name of the show is divine masculine and divine feminine. Your left brain is your divine masculine part. Mm-hmm. Your right brain is your divine feminine part.
Trying to say, man. I'm not going.
So together, right?
Yeah.
So what they did was they took apart which weakened it, right? Mm-hmm. So if you take, I don't know why I'm about to say a drop of blood, but you take a drop of blood and put it in a 1 ounce cup of water, it's gonna be reddish, mm-hmm. right? You take that same drop of blood and drop it in a glass of water, you might not see it.
You say the same thing?
Huh?
You said the same thing. You saying you take a drop of blood, drop it in water.
Drop it in a 1 ounce cup of water.
1 ounce cup. Okay.
It's going to be red.
Mm-hmm.
You take that same drop of blood and drop it in a glass of water.
Gotcha.
8 ounces.
Mm-hmm.
You might not see it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so, but it's in there.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If you put it under a microscope, you're going to see little.
Yeah. DNA.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, but the DNA is there, right?
Yep.
So, thank you. That was alley-oop.
So, the right mind.
so that's what you have with the Bible. You got that drop of blood. The DNA is in there,
mm-hmm.
right? But it's covered in. It's been.
That was good. I like that there, boy. I like that, boy. But okay. You was called to be a preacher.
So that's why you don't throw the whole Bible away, because the DNA of the truth is there.
Yeah, I like
it's
that.
just covered. It's been diluted.
Yep.
Right? So it's not as strong.
Yeah.
But it's still there.
Flesh and blood and reveal that to you, that there, boy. Yeah.
So we have given away our own deity, right? We've given it away to a power outside of us. We're supposed to talk about this in the icebreaker, which we just skip right on past. But I just wanted to say this.
What?
I was talking to my brother yesterday. My brother is a preacher, apostolic preacher, right? That boy good too.
That's what's up.
And we were talking about how the church feels like they got God, and as long as they got God,
that's enough.
That's enough. I need he's a lawyer where?
In the courtroom.
He's a doctor in the sick room.
In the sick.
Yeah.
Okay. The surgical room.
Okay, that too.
Yeah, all of whole hospital.
He's a mother to the
motherless.
He's a father.
You know what it is.
To the bastard.
What you call me?
So we've given this power to something outside of us instead of grabbing a hold of the deity that we are.
Yeah.
Right? So you know this story. I was working in an environment, and this is testimony time. Giving honor to God,
take the church out of it.
who's the head of my life.
Hold on, man. Which guy? You saying he don't exist?
Deacon Antoine over there, to my assistant pastor here. To giving honor to those who honor is due.
Yes.
I'm here to tell you that God is a good God.
Every episode, just preaching demons.
Man, I was, and this is a testimony. This is something that I hope that whoever hears this, that this blesses you. I was in a work situation, right? In an environment that I wasn't growing. In fact, it was making me sick, bro. Physically, mentally. Being in a toxic environment, right? Giving your all in the beginning with no recognition, no extra money, no nothing, right? And having to deal with personalities and people that had nothing to do with work, right? And you get to a point where you get sick and tired of being sick and tired. And when you at that point, then you come to a realization, I'm not sick or tired. I just ain't gonna do this no more. Right? And so I was in that situation, very negative, very toxic. I mean, to the point where all my friends are like, man, I don't even want to hear nothing about that place no more. I mean, it was very, very toxic. But you feel like, okay, I got these bills. I got these kids in college. I got this, that, man, this bringing the money in, right? So I got to endure, right? Because that's what we were programmed to endure, right? Because the race is not given to the who?
The swift, huh?
But to the one who
endureth
to the end, right?
Yeah, it is.
Until I came to the realization, I'm done. So I spoke that. And I said, by January, I'm leaving this place, which was different than what I had said before. Before, it's like, I got to get out of here, right? So now I'm running from something instead of running to something. And I hope everybody gets this, because I was telling my brother that the answers are here. You just got to listen, because he that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit is trying to tell you, right? So instead of running from a situation, I put my mind on what I wanted, right? And I start speaking that, right? Okay, now I'm speaking it, but I'm still throwing that negative energy on it until I said, I'm done. Y'all can have this. Whatever comes, I'm out of here in January.
Before February.
Before February.
I say that for a reason. Go ahead.
So New Year rolled around. I'm thinking like, okay, all these opportunities and these irons I done put in the fire. First week of January, I'm like, my phone about to be ringing. Man, that mug was dry as heck. Right? Mm-hmm. Next week came, and it didn't look like I was going to be getting any phone calls. And I remember I woke up one morning and I said, this is my last month dealing with this company. I said, whatever it is, see, I took the limits off because there was one opportunity that I was really excited about, right? So I was putting my mind on that, and then I took the limits off and said, whatever opportunity, it's got to look like this. They got to want me there. They got to value me on day one, right? The money got to be right. The environment has got to be good. I don't care if I'm working with, 2 chimpanzees and a couple of baboons, right? Mm-hmm. Well, that's kind of what I left. But but I didn't care what it looked like, as long as the environment was cool and we were smart. Like the place I left, I was the smartest one in that office, and I'm so not. This ain't ego. Mm-hmm. Like there was nobody I could bounce all ideas off of, right? Like, because it would be like your 4-year-old trying to bounce adult ideas off of a 4-year-old, right? It was like that. There was no professionalism or intelligence, right? Mm-hmm. So I called out exactly what I wanted.
You was naming and claiming it.
I was naming and claiming. Right?
Oh, we got a real with that Dr. King vibrato.
And long story short, I ain't never made a long story short.
No, you ain't. You just lied.
I know. But there was a proposal, right? Mm-hmm. That, man, I had totally checked out of this place. Literally, I'm like, I was leaving. Like, if nothing happened, I was walking out the door. Like, I'm not going back there. See, I had a made up mind.
It sounds like you think that Jesus existed the way you talking. For sure.
And once you have a made up mind with no wavering, mm-hmm. and you open up your mind to the possibilities that what you've created will manifest, mm-hmm. because it's already manifested, because it was real within your mind, because you created it there.
It's true.
So, long story short,
I'm not nigga. I'm the dude in the pool pit though. Yeah, I'm like, that's right. Said so.
So I ended up calling a guy who I knew who I was going to use on this RFP. We just got to talking. This guy is a cool guy, man. I mean, we were going to work together prior, and things happened. It didn't come about, right? So we're talking, and he's talking about how they're hiring people, and we always hiring. Yeah, we're a growing company, blah blah blah. And I just said, so you hiring? He said, oh yeah, we always hiring. We just brought on about 2 people here, and we got this. I said, no. I'm asking you, are you hiring me? And he was like, he was shocked because I came hard. I asked, but I was telling him, you hiring me, right? And long story short, that was on a Friday. I had the offer on Tuesday. I didn't have to interview for it, right? I didn't have to toil and wonder. And that was the other thing that I put out there, in prior attempts to go to other positions that I loved, that the idea of what they would have me doing, I had to jump through a whole bunch of different hoops. I had to interview 8. One time I went through 9 interviews with the same company, right? I said, nah, we done with that, because now you got to jump through my hoops. Now I don't like that, because if I didn't show you who I am on the first day, maybe you got to get some other input so we do a second one. Anything other than that, this probably ain't gonna be a good fit.
You ain't recognize your power before though.
I didn't recognize my power before. Long story short, I started January 31st, right? Before February. So it's not just about ask, believe, and receive. It's about understanding who you are, right? You are a God. People say, who is God? I see God when I look in the mirror. I see God when I look at my brother Rich, right? You see God when you look at yourself.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just
thing is like, I don't, like I said before, I don't like G-O-D. I don't like letters and definitions. It screw everything up. It's the power within. You know what I mean? You have power within, and you're more powerful when you know it and not just believe it. So that's all. Go ahead. I had to throw that in there.
Because when you believe it, you don't know.
Yeah. Because that God, we say God, that it go back to Jesus and everything. Yeah. And then it go back to what we were saying. Did he exist? So, you know what I'm saying? It's the power, that we all possess and once you tap into it. But all of that BS that they put on top of, the drop of blood.
Here's what they did. They took God. No, let's get on the same page. They took the power within you, pulled it out of you, put a name on top of it, and made you worship something outside of you. Right? And then they told you if you didn't, you're going to burn in hell for eternity. And that this loving God, which is the power that they pulled outside of you, is going to banish you to hell because you said whatever.
They had to make a powerful people powerless, because it was innate for us to know that we are that with our connection with the sun and nature. So that's what they did. They made us like, y'all don't have no power. It's the person or the being or whatever that they humanize the sun, you know what I'm saying, and put this character on it, anthropomorphication, and they said that right there is what you look at and worship. And if you don't, what's the last episode before the last episode? you going to hell. Exactly.
So so the redundant theme is the power that you have within, right? We keep giving it away. And then see, I did the same thing. You know, it took a long time for me to graduate from praising and worshiping a God outside of me instead of realizing what I am.
Yeah,
I'm a spiritual deity having a human experience, right? So it's not easy at first, but it's when you start just putting it into practice, start to reprogram your subconscious mind, right? Start to even and one way to reprogram your subconscious mind is repetition, right? Repetitively, because that's how I got there in the first place. Repetition. You know what I'm saying? Somebody told you was black over and over and over again before you believed you was black. Right? So repetition undoes undoes is not right.
No, I had public education. Undoes, brother.
Undoes.
I don't know. But I want to.
Anyway, it.
Let me say this while you work on that. Let me say this real quick. You said you're a deity, right? But you have to be your own deity though, to yourself, because wouldn't that be polytheistic though? If you would say that you were a deity, because you could be a deity saying that I'm a deity, look at me as a deity, like esteem me. But I think it's like,
well, then
you have to look at yourself as that God or that power on your own.
Well, so here's the thing. I am a deity. Okay. Right? Look at me. But I also recognize the deity in you. Right? And so
not in a religious manner.
No, because again, we talked about this before about the creation it all came from the same source, right? So we are all a part of the original creation. So if the creator, right, they said in the beginning was the word, and the word was with God, and the word was God, and the word was made flesh.
What's the word though?
The spoken word, I guess. but in the pyramid text, see, look how closely this is.
Okay, break it down.
In the pyramid text, a tomb says, I created myself out of myself. I caused existing to exist so that existence might exist. Right? And then it talked about how, and when I realized I existed, Ma'at was at my side. And it goes on to say, and I came from my mother's womb noon. So you had all of this happening simultaneously, right? So you had the divine masculine, which created himself out of himself, but at the same time created Ma'at, which is justice, right order, reciprocity, right? And he came from a womb, just like we all came from a womb, right?
Yeah.
So the deity exists in all of us once you recognize you're a deity.
But if he caused himself to exist, then where does the woman come into play? Because she had to come into play though. Because you can't just call yourself to exist without the divine feminine.
Simultaneously.
So he wasn't by himself. He couldn't call himself to exist unless it was a portal, which is the birth canal.
Well, according to the pyramid test, all of that happened simultaneously.
So when he said, I caused myself to exist, and how go again, call myself to exist?
I created myself out of myself. I caused the existence to exist so that existing might exist.
So he caused, so
there was nothing until he created it.
See, that's what I'm saying. Hold on. This is where I gotta I ain't gonna say defer, but because we saying he, I think it was a it, or you know what I'm saying? Because I can't say a he caused.
So above, as above, so below.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
So I came from my mother's womb, right? But also the life force of existing originates in a man.
That man can't come to be unless.
So which came first, chicken or the egg?
The is came first. The on, the it, the I am.
Because so the life force originates in a male, right? We generate, the force of sperm inside semen as it's ejaculated, it shoots out, right? That is a life force. Your sperm is alive when it is ejaculated, right? It's alive because it's moving, right? And it's conscious because it knows where it's trying to go. Now, some of them, if you've seen it under a microscope, they're a little retarded, right? They go bump into the wall and they're trying to go back. You know what I'm saying? But the force is so you've got millions of sperm seeking consciously to impregnate the egg, right? So if that originated, and this is so beyond our understanding, because what you're saying is, yeah, but we all came through a woman, which is what Atum said. But the life force begins with man.
But it couldn't exist without love and nurturing.
Absolutely.
So to me, it's all one.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So it's both. It would have to be causing myself to exist, will have to have both sides in order to exist. So that's what I'm saying. So to say it would have to be I don't know, hermaphrodite type, but like a he, she, or whatever. It was just like all in one, like the yin and the yang is just a whole, you know what I'm saying? It's the oneness of it all.
Yeah.
But the age in which we're coming out of is the reason why we think like this, which is the Piscean age, which is the two fish or whatever. It was more male dominant, but we're coming to the whole understanding now, like you mentioned earlier, the divine feminine, which is, humanity and the nurturing and all of that, recognizing this is some bullshit, everybody killing everybody, and it's turning around.
But I want to be careful though, because I've heard people start to worship the woman and put the woman on a pedestal. And in that, I think that's where we fall back into the same bullshit. Right?
Yeah, I wouldn't say not to worship. I feel what you're saying. I don't think man or a woman should be worshipped.
Exactly.
I think it's just it's a respect thing.
It's a respect.
Yeah, I think we should respect the woman more than we have been respecting the woman.
And now a lot of men that quote the Bible about the woman submitting to him skip over. See, this is what I mean by selective memory on what's in the Bible and what's not. There's a scripture that says, husbands and wives, submit yourselves one to another, right? And so I don't really like the word submit because of the connotation that has come with it. I like respect and honor better, right?
Yeah.
So when there is respect for the divine feminine, and you women out here don't understand your deity, right?
Talking about their own deity within themselves.
They don't understand the deity that they possess. They don't understand the power. And so we've allowed, again, the programming, right? Music, TV. We've allowed the programming, even this bullcrap social media where these memes originate out of nowhere that got the black men and the black women against each other. But women have reduced themselves, and this started probably about 10 to 15 years ago, where I'm watching now women reduce themselves and their bodies and their worth to a dollar figure.
It's been going on for a long time.
I mean, like, but on mass, like, you know, I was just in a conversation earlier today where the men are expanding. Everybody's household runs differently, right?
Yeah.
But I'm kind of old school where I think that the man should provide, you know, the majority of the finances to the home, but everybody's house runs differently. And because a man is not able to pay 100% or whatever, doesn't make him any less of a man, right? And so that's what our women have to understand. At the same time, our women are not there to be our slaves, right? So, but I've seen a lot of women, and I've only seen this in the black community where the woman is like, you want sex, but you don't want to pay.
The wife you talking about?
No, these are just women out there that are hoping to be a wife. Right?
I was about to say hoes. They're hoping to be a wife.
But that's what our women are starting to, because I'm paying attention because the next generation is coming along, right? And so the goal is to minimize our existence. And the way to do that is to separate the black man from the black woman, right? And how do you do that? You devalue the black man and feminize him. You make the woman masculine and hoify her. Now she ain't nothing but a piece of, right? And she masculine, right? And so now you've got the divine masculine and the divine feminine separated. And they're no longer divine because neither one understands their divinity. So I'm watching this and I'm just like, man, and I try to enter the conversation to offer some guidance that, hey, two people need to sit down and talk because this is our future. If you're 20-something years old, you're not going to find too many black men that can pay 100% of the bills and fund your trips and your nice Louis Vuitton, Prada, whatever, Birkin bags, right? It's just not a reality. But somebody put this into the mind of our women, right? And then the man feels like, let me ask you this. Have you ever felt, without getting too personal, have you ever felt like your worth was in how much money you bring home as a man?
Yeah, at one point, yeah.
Yeah. That sucks because I felt like that before too. You know what I'm saying? And so those are the things that, you know, it separates, because now the man feels like that's his worth. So how can you recognize your deity when you feel like your worth is how much money you make a year or how much money you bringing into the household?
It's been all mixed up and distorted. But just like how you saying right now, you breaking it down. That's my whole point at the start of the show. It's like somebody was here to explain all of that, but they got screwed up. You know what I'm saying? I don't think his name was Jesus, but somebody was here telling everybody this, and it got taken away and it got messed up. Now you got niggas, people, dudes thinking that they chicks and vice versa and all of that because we lost it. But I think that we are the Christ consciousness now to speak to others and put them on a right. You know what I'm saying? So we are that. And it was like, to me, one person then that was chosen whenever the age started or however it started, from what we know of, and as far as time, that person existed. That's how I feel.
So I am going to agree partially that there may have been one person, but there have been many.
I agree. Yeah. I agree with many.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, as far as they got it from somebody. It was like a main, like you got a whole bunch of preachers, but it's a bunch of people who know of like one main guy. So I'm gonna just use everybody know of a TD Jakes, right? So if you take a people, you would just take that person's, who they may change his name, but it was somebody here, probably bald headed with a goatee, whatever, put a name on him, and this person was teaching everybody that, women are loose or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Oh, what was that one? Need to buy? I don't know. He said it. No, she was no more she. Anyway, I'm just saying it was somebody here is all I'm saying. And it was many, like you said, but but like now it's a whole bunch of us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's why I was saying we the Christ consciousness,
Absolutely. And so,
which is enlightened. Christ meaning the enlightened ones. Those are the enlightened.
Right. We're not claiming to be the Christ.
Because the programming, when I hear the Christ, because I've been programmed and indoctrinated and all of that, Jesus. I see a white guy with long hair and a goatee, you know what I'm saying? And I just think of that when I see Christ. But it's different. So I say the enlightened ones.
Yeah.
So did he exist?
No.
Okay.
No.
Now I'm gonna say since we can think differently, even though you wrong totally. No, I can't prove none of that. I just know what I feel or what I think.
Yeah, and then it all boils down to belief. And I'll tell everybody, if you was offended, get over it.
And that, flat out, that name didn't exist. That's for damn sure.
Oh yeah.
Now whether it's you say,
but I thought there was power in the name of Jesus.
Well, that's it was also a slave ship called Jesus too.
So let's be redundant. Right,
we according to people, we've been doing that from the beginning.
Let's be redundant. So
this is the second, third show.
How is it that I've prayed in the name of Jesus and people were healed, situations were changed?
It was in the vibration, wasn't in the name.
There you go. That was alley-oop.
Alley-oop.
Yeah, it was in the vibration. Yep. Absolutely. And so. Damn, I was gonna say something else, man. Summarize. What was the last thing you said? You said, "Oh, this is what I was gonna say." So, even in the thing that you use with TD Jakes, right? There's proof that a man like TD Jakes, whether his name is TD Jakes or Thomas David Jakes. Right? You got proof of things in this era that we use to document that something happened, right? In that era, the turn of the, what is that? Not the turn of the century, the turn of the millennium. From the before the Common Era to after the Common Era, whatever the tools that they used at that time, because we know they were documenting history at that time, right? Because other history is recorded. There are no recordings of this so-called person Isis, right? And then the writer even said in the book, I think it's Matthew 26 or 28th or 24th, one of those 20 even numbers. Jesus was talking to the disciples, and he said, many shall come in my name, saying that I am Christ, but they shall deceive many.
So what that mean to you, though?
Just what it said. Hey, Rich, many people gonna come. They're gonna come in the name of Nate King, telling you that I'm Christ, and they're gonna deceive a whole lot of people.
But somebody said it, though.
But get what I'm saying.
I'm getting it.
He said, I ain't the Christ. He literally said, I'm not the Christ. So somebody coded esoterically in the scripture, this ain't it. You just get from this what you're supposed to get from it. The turn into water, the water to wine, the walking on water, the speaking to the fig tree that didn't bear figs. All that was esoterically telling you the power and the divinity that you have within you. Then he turned around after doing all of that and said, oh, what I did? Psh, man, y'all gonna do way greater than that. And that's a so-called man that called Lazarus to get up out the grave, right? That was a man that healed the blind. The woman had the issue of blood. All of this, right? And he said, greater works than these will you do. But we leave that part out. We only grab onto the things that gives our power to something outside of us instead of real. I know I'm saying the same thing over and over again, but I just want the people to get it.
It's so confusing to me, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Because, I mean, why would you put something in there that'll help people out that you trying to colonize, or that you colonizing? Why would you give them truth? That's why it's confusing to me. That's why I'm so like nature, innate, and all of that.
Yeah.
It's confusing. You know what I'm saying? Wars are built on all of this stuff to be talking about. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
yeah.
It's irritating to me. I ain't gonna even lie to you, man. It separates so many families and all that BS, man. But you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, it is separating. It's separating families. It's causing people to get divorces. It's separating children from their parents because I didn't raise you like that.
The only good thing about religion, I would say, is that you have to have you need children's books before you can have books to go to college. You got to start somewhere.
It's a great foundation.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when you graduated from Santa Claus, you understood what it was, right?
Mm-hmm.
And even though, you know, because I feel kind of like nostalgic when I hear a gospel song, right? Mm-hmm. And I can still listen to some preachers. A lot of them I can't even listen to no more. But I feel nostalgic like at Christmas time when the music is playing and you know it ain't no Santa Claus, right?
Just feel good.
So saying all that to say, yeah, it's a foundation. And I've got some good memories and some bad memories, but I'm grateful for my foundation because it's what I needed at that time.
Mm-hmm.
But at this point, I think we need to understand that we are coming into a new age. There's more information available. And if you're not ready to move on to the next level, that's okay. If you still want Jesus, that's okay.
What if you flip the name around? What you think about that? People using other names too.
Sausage.
I don't know. It's a lot of names.
You said turn it around.
No. Hold on. I ain't say this nigga. No, like other names like Jehovah, Yeshua,
Jay-Z. What you say?
Yeah, yep. Who else? Whoever else, like all the other names they be used. You know what I'm saying? You think the same thing, like none of them, because like I said, the name didn't exist.
Well, the name didn't exist, but I mean, we've just come up with a whole bunch of different rationalizations to make sense out of the fact that we've been fooled, lied to, and programmed wrong. That's it. In our heart of hearts, we know it was no Yeshua, Yeshaya, Yahweh, none of that ever. It just really is allegory.
So Allah, Muhammad, all of that.
Well, Allah is another name for God or the creator.
Okay. So Muhammad,
they even tell you that was a man, but he never existed either.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about that because I was raised, and I'm just wanting to know your
Yeah. I mean, and then there are pieces of ancient Kemetic spirituality in all of these different religions.
Okay.
Yes, like the Indians, they have deified the cow, right? The sacred cow. Where does the sacred cow come from? Apis the bull.
But it got all of us divided.
It's all divided. It's all
it did
different.
Its job.
It's all exactly.
If we stuck together, we wouldn't be. Watch this. If we all stuck together and wasn't separated by religion, we wouldn't even be paying for electricity.
Man, I'm gonna tell you something.
Or gas.
Or none of that, man. I'm gonna tell you something I heard today as we bring this show to a close. Something that's near and dear to me, to both of us, which is the upliftment and empowerment of our people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm listening to this short video that talked about an article where a Jewish man was, and this was proven. This is an article, and I'll pull up the video. So I don't want no Whoopi Goldberg smoke, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this Jewish man was responding to a question. He was asked, why do you think Black people are in the state that they're in? And his response was, in the Jewish community, our money circulates 18 times before it leaves the community, right? Our money, I don't even think it circulates 3 times in our community before it leaves, right? We don't work together. It's hard for Black people to do business together.
We were doing that, though. They blew it up. We was doing that. We had to circulate more than other people.
Exactly. So, but now we're at a time where we have to recreate that, right? So it's time out for excuses, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've tried to do business with several of my friends. Never work out. There's always a question of, what are you bringing to the table? Instead of recognizing, I know my value and my worth. I'm not going to try and sell that to somebody that's known me 20, 30 years. If you don't know my value, then you don't know me, right? So when you get to that point, it's like, okay, I'm doing business with people that'll do business with me. So now I'm doing business outside of my community, which is crazy. Because the same people I'm doing business with, the same people, my friends have that same capable. We could be making money together, right? But we can't get past the bullshit. We think that Rich is trying to get over on me. I got all the talent. I got this MacBook. He ain't got no MacBook. Well, you do, but mine newer. Mm-hmm. Right?
For sure. So mine like it's been through the washing machine like 8 times.
and so then now I gotta disregard Rich because I only see the value in what I have, and this nigga trying to get over on me. That's crazy, man. That's so ludicrous that we can't build our own communities and work together, right? But we've been programmed that my brother, what he got ain't as good as what he got. He don't look like me, so his is better. His ice is colder, right? That's crazy. His sugar is sweeter. So as we close, man, I don't know if you want to piggyback on that or if I just took us way down a tangent, but
stop shitting on your brother and work with him. That's what he's trying to say as we close.
All right, everybody. As usual, we want you to like and subscribe. We want you to check us out on Apple Podcasts, YouTube. We're on Instagram and Facebook, right? Spotify, wherever you can catch your podcasts, you can catch us there. Like, subscribe, and definitely share. If you got anything out of this, share it. If you think this is a debate topic, share it. If you didn't like what we said, share it. All right, everybody, y'all have a good one.
We out.
Yeah. Yup. No fear. Nope. Rich in here. LBRM. Yup. Look. This rich in here. This for the ones that knew me. Y'all don't really know me, so I'm exposing the new me. See, Rich was Christian. Now he's a free man. That's right, I said it, and I could give 2 fingers up if you love me or not.
That's peace either way. Came in this world without you, and I'm leaving that way. No, I'm not who I was. Won't be him no more. No longer in disguise. I can't do it no more. Heard y'all wanna debate. I ain't got time to waste. No time for proving you wrong. Leave that to my nigga Nate.